One reason for that nervousness is what happened in January 2021, the Capitol riots, the day when America's Parliament building was overrun. You can feel that nervousness here. We've been going around Washington, D.C. over the last few days. Things are certainly different. For starters, we've seen a lot more fences. Even the sidewalks near the White House have been cordoned off. We saw a lot more security presence too. The people we spoke to are also worried. They have businesses here. Their children go to school here. So the possibility of violence is very scary. Take a look at how Washington is preparing, or rather bracing, for Election Day. Welcome to Washington, D.C. Just a couple of days until this town gets a new chief. Or rather, a commander-in-chief. Elections usually bring excitement and energy, a feeling of change and hope. But around here, the mood is a bit different. Yes, people are concerned about the results, but they're more concerned about what happens after. This is the Capitol Hill. You may remember what happened here the last time. Hundreds of Trump supporters breached security and stormed this building. They were refusing to accept that Donald Trump had lost the election. So senators and members of Congress had to be rushed to safe rooms and bunkers. Now we have another election involving Donald Trump, and everyone has the same question on their mind. If he loses, will there be another attack? Authorities are working to ensure that doesn't happen. For starters, security has been increased.
You in?
Most of the popular protest sites have been fenced. Nearly 2,100 officers have been deployed. That's 300 more than January 2021. The hope is any fallout will be contained. Near the White House, similar arrangements are in place. The Lafayette Park is partially closed. So are the sidewalks near the White House. Officials are not taking any chances. They want constitutional centers to be safe in case things go south. Washington's governor is also on the job. He has activated some of the National Guards. Think of them as paramilitary forces. Each US state has National Guards stationed inside, sort of like backup for the army. In Washington, these troops have been put on standby. All that security may sound good on paper, but it only adds to the worries for the residents of the city. They got a taste of the violence in 2017 when Donald Trump was inaugurated as president. Hundreds of people took over Washington to the chants of "Not my president." Then they got the shock of their lives in 2021 when the Capitol riots happened. And now the people of Washington say that they're scared and nervous. A lot of businesses have boarded up their storefronts, fearing riots or violent protests. These are the people at the forefront of America's political divide. If the election is close, things may turn worse. Chances are candidates will approach the Supreme Court, another institution based in Washington. A legal battle is likely to bring a flood of supporters from both sides. A scenario that doesn't read well. Any violence will affect the locals in many ways. Their businesses are on the firing line. Roads may get closed, schools and offices could be shut, and police presence could turn the city into a fortress.
It's a sad state for the democracy in the United States. Why should freedom have to protect your own property when you disagree with somebody? Doesn't make any sense.
We all knows what happened when things doesn't go Trump's way. He incites his followers to protest in violent ways, and I think it's smart. I actually work a couple of blocks down in a government building, and I don't want to come to work on Tuesday. I think it's going to be hectic and crazy. I wish we would be off.
For officials, this is a tough choice. You can't stop supporters from holding peaceful protests. But how do you ensure the situation does not descend into chaos? This is the National Mall. This is the long shot of Washington, D.C. that you see in most Hollywood films. And these are the grounds where some of this country's historic protests and campaigns have unfolded. This place is open to peaceful demonstrations, but you need permission first. So far, at least 9 groups have applied, most of them left-leaning. And this is where the authorities face a dilemma. Do you give permission to opposing groups and risk a face-off? And if you deny permission to all, are you trampling on their right to protest? There are no easy choices as election day nears. Even afterwards, the danger isn't over. In the last election, the anger did not spill over immediately. It exploded weeks later on January 6th. So next week is merely the first in a series of challenges. The eyes of the world will be on Washington, D.C. The international press is here watching. The question is, what will we see? A peaceful transition of power or another crack in the foundation of US democracy? Washington is all set for a presidential battle like no other.
In less than 90 days, it's either going to be him or me sitting in the Oval Office.
Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump.
All we want is one simple thing: get out on Tuesday and vote.
A vice president versus a former president. As we head towards election night, Vantage will be live from the heart of the action. Speaking to voters in this final stretch,
I'm still very undecided.
Very close presidential race.
Tracking the campaigns as they make the last push. From exclusive ground reports to in-depth analysis, this is your one-stop destination for the presidential race. Join us on this special edition of Vantage, live from the White House in Washington, D.C.